Peace, love, and higher vibes, my magnificent souls. You're now tuned in to Sister Cerise Entertainment, where every story has soul. This is more than just celebrity gossip. This is divine storytelling. This is soul talk. And this is where fame meets faith and legacy meets love. Today we're talking about Beyonce and her greatest creations, not just music, but in her life, her daughter, Blue Ivy. Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter, a name that now sits in the same category as Aretha, Diana, and Whitney. Because she has been an icon in her era, let's face it, and even though, of course, Aretha, Diana, and Whitney have the pipes of, wow, just greatness and beauty, and some people will argue that Beyonce doesn't have the same type of pipes, but most people will argue that she has had the same type of legacy. She's a legend in her own time. And what stands out to me as a soul coach is not just her art, it's her evolution. That's right, I'm a soul coach, so I look at more than just the talent. I look at the gift behind the person. And Beyonce has transitioned from performer to purpose. She's moved beyond being simply a singer or an entertainer. She's now a matriarch, a movement, a mentor. Her divine feminine power is no longer just in her body. It's in her bloodline. And the most powerful part of that is Blue Ivy. When I watch them together, I don't just see a famous mom and her daughter. I see the sacred blueprint of generational empowerment. Beyonce didn't just give Blue Ivy wealth. She gave her wisdom, and that speaks a lot. She didn't just birth a daughter. She birthed a legacy. And we can really see that as time goes on. When Blue Ivy stepped onto the stage during the Renaissance tour, baby, it was something special. You could feel the vibration in the air shift. This wasn't just a little girl dancing. That was a young queen being initiated in front of the world. She was poised. She was graceful. She didn't overdo it, but you could see that she was still learning. She didn't try to over-impress. She just showed up for herself, and in showing up, she reminded the world confidence isn't loud, and power doesn't have to shout. She just showed us that it's all in the training. Let's take a moment to understand that. Blue Ivy is only 13 years old. When she took the stage, she was 11. At that age, most children are still trying to find themselves. But here she is, standing in front of tens of thousands of people, not shrinking, not showing fear. She's showing faith. That tells me she's being raised with more than love. She's being raised with spiritual alignment. And we know her grandma Tina has a lot to do with that as well, because she has that old soul shining through her. Now, what struck me most was her stillness. The stillness in her, that centered energy. I really appreciate that centered energy. It shows that she is willing and ready to take on the world. And in music and in art, that can only come from inner peace. And inner peace comes from being seen, heard, and protected. That little girl knows who she is. She's not trying to be Beyonce. She's walking in her own name. Now, in the soul world, names are sacred. They're not just sounds. They're energy codes. And the name Blue Ivy is one of deep metaphysical meaning. Let's start with blue. Blue is the color of the throat chakra. Have you ever heard of chakras before? They're basically little spiritual openings in the body that open up to let in positive energy and let out negative energy. It's kind of like saying the holes in your body to let out stuff and let in stuff. For instance, your nose. When you're sick, the negative comes out through boogies and also you let in air. So chakras are very similar to that, but for the spirit. And the center of communication and expression and truth. Blue is also the color of deep water. Water represents emotion, mystery, and divine flow. People with blue energy often carry intuition and empathy. It's the color of wisdom and depth. Blue is not superficial. Blue is timeless. Now let's move to ivy. Ivy is a plant that climbs. It grows persistently. Ivy wraps around itself and around anything near it and finds a way to thrive, no matter the odds. In folklore and ancient symbolism, ivy represents eternity, loyalty, feminine strength, and spiritual endurance. It survives winters. It lasts for generations. So when Beyonce named her daughter Blue Ivy, she wasn't just being poetic. She was calling forth a legacy. A wise, intuitive, spiritually strong soul who would grow in love and truth. And you know what else is fascinating? IV. In Roman numerals, it's 4. So Beyonce and Jay-Z both love the number 4. They were married on April 4th. Yes, April is the 4th month. And on the day 4, Beyonce's birthday is September 4th. Jay-Z's birthday is December 4th. Blue Ivy is literally a spiritual fusion of her parents in name and energy. Now let's talk about the phenomenon that fans lovingly refer to as Manager Blue. At shows, behind the scenes, even in public moments, you can catch Blue Ivy observing, not with a child's curiosity, but with a quiet authority. She pays attention to timing. She seems to know what needs to be said or not said. Her energy is calm but focused. That's not just maturity. That's spiritual awareness. See, when you're raised around purpose, not just performance, you gain a sense of discernment early on. You learn to read the room. You learn to move and when to wait. And that's what I see in Blue Ivy. She's not just trying to prove anything. She's not clinging to fame. She's learning. She's studying. She's absorbing. That's divine leadership. And in a feminine form. It's not always loud. It's not always flashy. Sometimes the most powerful person in the room is the one who's saying nothing at all, but sees everything. You see her on stage when her little sister starts to get a little rambunctious? Blue Ivy is the one that says, "Come here, relax." And she does it in front of a stage and a whole entire anthem full of people. Yeah. She says, "Come here," to her little sister, and she commands her little sister to listen up, and her little sister listens. They call her Manager Blue, but what I see is Priestess Blue, a young soul who already understands that presence is power. Let's pull back and look at this spiritually. Beyonce didn't just give birth to Blue Ivy. She's raising her with awareness and reverence. And not just Beyonce, but we do have to give some credit to Jay-Z and also a lot of credit to Tina Knowles. Too often in the world of celebrity, and even outside it, children are raised in shadows. They either fade into the background or get thrown into the spotlight too soon. But Beyonce is showing us another way. How to lead your child into their light without burning them in your flame. There's a long history of generational trauma in many communities. Parents passing down pain, fear, pressure. But when you become a cycle breaker, you heal yourself. You give your child a new starting point. That's what Beyonce has done. She's built a dynasty, but rooted in spiritual legacy. Not just money, not just fame, but in soul work. And you know what's even more beautiful? Beyonce had that legacy too. Mrs. Tina Knowles raised her girls with discipline, dignity, and creativity. So this is not just about Beyonce and Blue Ivy. It's about a line of women choosing healing over hustle, connection over control, love over legacy building. And in doing so, the legacy naturally builds itself. So, what are we witnessing in Beyonce and Blue Ivy right now? We are witnessing not just a dynasty, it's a destiny. A mother and daughter relationship that honors the past, lives fully in the present, and prepares for the future. A lot of people may be saying, well, why is she doing it so soon? Blue Ivy is just 11 years old when she went on stage. Well, we really have to look at destiny in that way. Look at Britney Spears. Look at Michael Jackson. Look at Justin Bieber. A lot of these kids were ready to take the stage, and their parents knew when to do it.
I did not think it was an appropriate place for an 11-year-old on the stadium stage. All the things that I had to go through and the obstacles I had to overcome prepared me, and she hasn't had that struggle. I made a deal with her, and I said, if you practice and you show your commitment, I'll let you do one show. So we let her do it. Feel her behind me going up that lift, and I saw that little glimpse of her face and I almost passed out. It was one thing for me to be nervous, it's another thing for my child to be nervous, and I thought, why did I say yes?
I feel like now my mindset has changed, and now I actually have to wake up in the morning and go to rehearsals, and I have to actually work hard.
She's not being forced to be Beyonce 2.0. She's being guided to be fully herself. And that, my loves, is the most sacred gift a mother can give a daughter. The freedom to be her own name. This is Sister Cerise Entertainment, where every story has soul. If this message touched your spirit in any way, bless that button with clicking like, share the vibe, and subscribe for more soulful storytelling. In the comments, tell me, what does legacy mean to you? How do you raise or uplift the next generation? Let's grow together. This is Sister Cerise, your sister in spirit, signing off with love, light, and soulful truth. Please do me a favor after you subscribe and hit that like button. Be sure to be good to yourself out there and make today count. When you look on the screen right there, you're going to see two videos. One is going to be about the Cowboy Carter tour, and the other one's going to be one that YouTube is recommending for you from my channel based upon what you enjoy. Take care, everyone. Huge hugs, loads of love, and big blessing.